Welcome back to a special edition of The Mungle Show. I am Matt Mungle. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us all the time. Remember, for all info on our show, everything that we do, you can jump over to mungleshow.com. My family and I love to watch reality television, especially anything that has to do with cooking, whether it's Top Chef, anything done on the Food Network. And of course, the great food truck race, Gold Coast, is in action. And Thursday night, we watched the final 3 food trucks battle it out for a top spot in the final.
America's favorite cooking competition on 4 wheels is back for more. I call this one the Gold Coast season.
Very excited to be joined in this segment by Chef Navin and Andrew from Team Mystikka Masala. They are some Dallas natives kicking some tail in this food truck race, and excited to have them on the show with us today. How's it going, guys? You guys in Dallas?
We are back in Dallas. We're both born and raised here, so this is our hometown. So we're just bunkered down during quarantine.
Oh, like the rest of us. So what was for lunch? Do you guys always cook? Because I know you're involved in your restaurants, and we're going to be talking about the great food truck race and all of that. Are there days when you just don't want to cook? You like throw an Amy's burrito in the microwave and call it a day? Or
It's so funny because like when you work around food all day, you pretty much don't want to necessarily eat sometimes whatever you're cooking. But because of quarantine, my passion for cooking like all of the time has definitely come back. So we've literally been eating every single meal at home, getting creative. Today we had some crab fried rice with these like shishito pepper crab ragoons, which were delicious. So,
oh my gosh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah. So we're definitely not compromising in regards to eating well at home for sure.
Right. I would say actually, because, like when you're in the restaurant or even on the food truck, a lot of times you're making the same dish, over and over for your customers. And whenever you're in quarantine, you're cooking at home, you get to explore a lot of different options. So it's kind of fun and exciting again. So we've actually been cooking quite a bit at home.
So if I will say that there's one positive light out of all this, it is how families have been able to just cook together and eat together and do meals together, where instead of just running in 90 different directions. So if there is a bright spot in any of that, I think it's that.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And it's really cool, I think, to see a lot of the families cooking together for the first time and trying things that, kind of quote unquote scare them, to try. And so they're trying different things because they have the time and they have, they have the time with their kids too. So I think it's pretty exciting.
Right. Now, if you're listening in the Dallas area, of course, Spice in the City and Lucky Cat Vegan are 2 of the restaurants that you 2 own in Dallas. And so once this is all over, I really encourage listeners to flood both of those places as well as any local restaurant. And let's get some things running back. So keep those on your radar for sure. Do you guys miss being in the restaurant? I know you probably do. Is there things about it that you miss more than anything?
Yeah, we definitely miss our customers. We miss our employees. I mean, we have such a great family dynamic at our restaurant, and it translates not only into the food, but with our customer service. So the whole experience is really much more personal. So we definitely miss that human interaction that we had. We miss our own food. We'd be able to pack food to go and bring it home. So, we're craving some of those tikadillas and tikka nachos that we were seeing on TV. So, we're missing that whole environment.
Well, again, we're talking about the great food truck race, Gold Coast, which is the newest edition. And then Thursday night, it's going to be the final 3 food trucks battle it out to see who goes to the final. So I know we're excited to watch that. And it's really cool to me because everybody, when they talk about food, they talk about L.A., New York, and some of the other cities have, their specialties as well. But I love to see Dallas represented. Would you agree that Dallas is kind of a food hotspot as in comparison to New York and L.A.?
I definitely feel Dallas is super diverse. We have such an eclectic mix of cultures here, a lot of options to go choose from. So Dallas definitely needs to be on the radar, up to par with New York and LA in regards to the food scene. And fusion especially, that's our specialty. So we're really trying to introduce Californians on the West Coast to queso. A lot of them don't have access to queso. So, we do a tikka queso, which is incredible. And the nice thing about our food is we're not scary Indian food. We're really kind of very approachable Indian food that really a lot of people can relate to. And they're like, oh, I'd love to try some nachos or quesadillas or wings that have a little bit of an Indian spin, but are not so literally to the sense.
Right. Do you think that helped in the competition to be able to bring something that was a little new and eclectic to folks who maybe haven't tried that? Do you think that helped out in this great food truck race?
For sure.
To me, it was, yeah, I was going to say, to me, it was really exciting because a lot of people, of course, there's a lot of people from Texas that live on the West Coast now. So we ran into a lot of Texas and Dallasites that were excited about our food. But I think in general, people are excited about Tex-Mex. And like you were saying, in Dallas, we have great sushi, we have great steak places, we have great barbecue places. But the one thing you can't get anywhere else in the country is great Tex-Mex. So with Mystikka Masala's food truck, we're bringing Indian Tex-Mex fusion directly to them. So everyone was really excited about our food, and it was really fun, especially because I think the West Coast is a lot more open-minded when it comes to different varieties and foods. So it was really, really a fun journey.
Awesome. Now, my family and I love any kind of cooking competition show, whether it's on Food Network or, Top Chef, any of that. We just are gravitated. And I'm always, when you listen to the judges, they're like, think outside of the box, elevate your game, don't do the same thing, don't keep it safe. And then when people aren't keeping it safe, they're like, well, why'd you try that? So it's kind of like, how did you guys find that balance between doing what you know how to do, but still elevating it enough for a competition? Was there a balance there you had to find?
Well, it's so funny that you mentioned that because, just watching, obviously, the show airing and seeing how everything gets edited, we really have found that throughout our journey on the show, we've really brought unique twists to each challenge that comes about, with still bringing a little bit of an Indian flair, but of course, meeting the challenge requirements. And so, one of the really fun things that we did was that tramway where we did the salad on the way up. And, it was really interesting to have to build a salad while you're actually riding a ride up to the top of a mountain. But, there's definitely challenges, I think, because you're trying to not only appease Tyler's taste preferences, but, of course, any of the guest chefs that come about. So there's a lot of variables that come into play, and we really try to appease the mass demographic when it comes to taste profiles and general acceptability.
Yeah, for instance, one of our dishes that we featured on the food truck and we also have at Spice in the City is our tikadilla, which is our take on a quesadilla, which is featuring our famous tikka masala sauce. And you can get whatever protein you want in it. But the tikadilla is great because it's recognizable. People know quesadilla. But a lot of people don't always respond to tikka masala. So this was a great way to introduce them. They're familiar with the quesadilla, tikadilla, the name kind of, reigns the same. So they tend to pay attention and listen. And so it's fun to see people order something unique they've never had before, but, you have to market it in a way that's familiar to them.
Yeah, we definitely see a challenge whenever it comes to just the restaurant component of anyone that's never had Indian food before or maybe has had bad experiences with Indian food, really getting them in the door the first time. But once they actually try our food and realize that, oh, this is actually really good, it's really flavorful, and it's not as scary as I thought, they're hooked. And so you see that throughout the show in regards to people that are buying from our truck, really enjoying the food that we're providing and appreciating the variety that we're offering as well.
Awesome. Now, there seems to be, obviously, there has to be some sort of adrenaline rush because again, we watch these competition shows, and then you have two people like yourselves who are, established restaurants in Dallas. You're successful there. We have, you might have a Michelin star award person. What makes you want to do a competition like this? I mean, is there a rush or an adrenaline as a chef?
Well, I love working under pressure. I mean, we've always been that way. And in the restaurant and catering aspect of things, we always have to deal with variables and working under a time frame and really appeasing the customer. And so this really translated well for us in this competition because of all of the different challenges that we ended up having, all of the different cities that we end up going to. So it was really nice to be able to apply some of the skill set that we've obtained being restaurant owners and then it translating into the competition. And of course, any exposure that we have, especially through Food Network, is incredible. So we're really appreciative that we could get an opportunity to not only showcase the fact that we have well-established restaurants in Dallas, but also to showcase the general acceptability of the food that we're providing, especially in different regions.
Right. Now, there's a fourth team member that you guys had on your truck that I think elevated the entertainment value of the show. You want to talk a little bit about that?
You're talking about Mystikka Masala?
Absolutely.
Yeah, she is my alter drag personality. She comes out every once in a while. I enjoy doing drag. I've done drag for charity in college with a fraternity fundraiser that we did. So, in Halloween, sometimes I'll end up doing it. So we really thought, how are we going to make a really unique concept that's going to not only lure people to come and purchase from us, but really give them an entertainment value from beginning to end. And so we were really able to create this almost show-like experience where people not only are interacting with the drag queen, but they're getting a drag name as they purchase food and just really enjoying their experience while they're enjoying some amazing food.
Yeah, I was going to say that was one of our main things. Like in our restaurants, we like to have a certain level of, we call it bougie on a budget. We want people to have a great experience and feel like a bougie experience, but we're affordable price point. And that's kind of what we brought to the food truck experience too. We had different challenges along the way, but we always try to bring an upscale feel to it. But I mean, ultimately you're being entertained. You're being served by a drag queen from Dallas, Texas, who's Indian, serving Indian Tex-Mex food truck. So it's kind of a marketing, as well as part of the personality of the truck.
Now, I want to talk too, because we're all in quarantine here. You guys have a really cool, I went out and watched a couple of episodes on YouTube where you're making these easy quarantine recipes and you're cooking together and coming up with this stuff, which I think is fabulous. So we're going to have a link, obviously, on our page and here on the interview once this is done. But talk a little bit about that and bringing this cooking style during this time to people and what they can expect when they go out there and watch that channel.
Yeah, thank you for that. I mean, we really know that right now people have the time to be able to cook at home and be really creative and explore their culinary skills. And so Andrew's extremely talented in the bar area for sure. And me with the culinary side, we wanted to combine both of them. So a lot of our friends just normally seeing posts of our food really have been asking for us to start posting recipes. And then with the show coming out, we just felt there was a good opportunity to really provide some really easy recipes that people can use. And we're really trying to encourage people to eat as healthy as possible at home and using fresh ingredients right now, especially to build up their immunity while this is going on. So we're really trying to also educate the public at the same time.
One of the main things I noticed is that, during quarantine, almost immediately people were turning to alcohol
Right.
to help them get through everything. And so I wanted to provide some fun recipes that were pretty easy to make with pretty standard things you would have maybe in a liquor cabinet or on a bar cart. And the same thing goes with the food. Some of the items that we have on the Chef Navin YouTube channel are going to be items that you can find in your pantry right now. So for instance, we have one of our segments is rice 3 different ways. And so it's basically saying, hey, if you have the same plain rice in your cabinet, here's 3 different ways to make it completely different using the same non-perishable item that you have. And so our cooking videos are kind of focused in on that and finding things that are in your cabinets. For instance, I made an old fashioned that instead of using a simple syrup, I used actual maple syrup, and I actually smoked some wood inside of a glass to give it a smoky feel, just from things that I had around the house. And so that's kind of what the plans and the lessons are on our cooking channel there.
Awesome. Well, again, I appreciate you guys talking about that and putting yourself even out there to help us during this time of the quarantine. I know you can't talk about anything that's happening after these last couple of episodes, but we will be tuning in Thursday night, rooting for you, pulling for Dallas, and hoping for the best. And once this quarantine lifts, I know we're going to just run down there. I'm interested in going to Lucky Cat Vegan. A friend of mine had a vegan restaurant in Dallas, and I'm not vegan, but I love to sample the food, and so I'm really
Well, I would recommend the chili cauliflower when you come, or the poblano burger. Both of those are like our top 2 sellers for the vegan concept. So we do definitely appreciate your support, Matt, and this opportunity as well.
You bet. You guys take care, and we'll definitely see you once it all lifts.
Thank you so much. Take care.
And again, a very special thanks to Chef Navin and Andrew Petke for joining us to talk about the great food truck race, Gold Coast. Wishing them luck. And again, check that out Thursday night on the Food Network. We're going to take a small break, come back with more. And remember, you can check out everything we do at mungleshow.com.